If you've been on social media at all recently, I'm sure you've seen the headlines, the posts, the chatter. Today, we're going to look past all of that and really break down the complicated and honestly pretty tough conversation that's happening around Ariana Grande's appearance. So, let's get into it.
It really all boils down to this one question that has just exploded online. Seriously, it sparked a massive firestorm of comments, concern, and debate on literally every platform. So, what kicked this all off?
Well, the main reason is the gigantic promotional tour for the new Wicked movie. The cast is absolutely everywhere right now. Red carpets, interviews, you name it. And that means the public spotlight is on them 24/7, magnifying every single little detail.
And you know what happens when that kind of intense spotlight hits, right? A storm of online chatter is pretty much inevitable, and it has led to this whole swirl of speculation with a few key theories really taking hold. The speculation is coming from all different directions. You've got some people pointing to the crazy demands of a huge movie shoot. Others are blaming the ridiculously high beauty standards in the entertainment world. And then, of course, there are those before and after photos that just keep circulating, which just adds fuel to the fire and gets people guessing about her personal health. But this right here is the most important thing to remember. Despite all the noise, all the comments and theories, there's zero verified public confirmation that she is unwell. And that difference between what people are guessing and what is actually fact, well, that's everything. Which brings us to the single most important voice in this entire conversation, Ariana Grande herself. She decided to address everything head-on, and believe me, what she had to say completely changes the narrative.
This slide just perfectly captures the huge disconnect. On one side, you have the public's view, what a lot of people were calling her healthiest look. But her reality at that time, as she explained later, it was the total opposite. She was on antidepressants, drinking, and was at one of the lowest points in her life. It's just a really powerful reminder that what we think looks healthy from the outside can be so wrong.
So why even talk about it? As she says here, she knows she shouldn't have to explain her body to anyone, but she felt that maybe, just maybe, by being open about what she was actually going through, some good could come out of this whole difficult public situation. And this really gets to the core of her message. She calls the way we casually comment on people's bodies not just mean, but dangerous. It's a direct plea for all of us to be a little kinder, to think twice before we type, because those words have a real impact. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second, because this story is so much bigger than just one celebrity. It actually points to a much broader and, frankly, a pretty troubling pattern.
I mean, just look at her Wicked co-star, Cynthia Erivo. She's been dealing with almost the exact same kind of comments, people calling both of them gaunt or fragile. And just like with Ariana, it's all based on pure speculation. This isn't a one-off thing. It's a clear pattern of public judgment.
So it's actually fueling this whole fire? Well, the biggest piece of the pie, by far, is social media amplification. That's a huge 45%. The intense media tour adds another 35%. When you put those together, you get this massive feedback loop where speculation just spirals out of control, and it all taps into this much bigger, ongoing debate we have about body image.
So, when you look at all the speculation on one side and the actual reality on the other, what's the real takeaway here? Well, the people right in the middle of this storm are asking for something pretty simple, a more thoughtful and compassionate approach from every single one of us.
The way forward is really about being more mindful. First, just pause before commenting. Ask yourself, is this necessary? Is this helpful? Second, we have to remember that bodies change and healthy looks different on every single person and at every stage of life. And finally, it's about making a conscious choice to prioritize empathy over gossip. It's about choosing compassion instead of just adding to the speculation.
In the end, this whole thing really leaves us with one critical question. When we're faced with a sea of online speculation versus a person's own lived reality, which story do we choose to believe? And maybe more importantly, which one do we choose to pass on?